Hi, everybody. Ron Callan with you. And what a big week in sports. We have an actual live event taking place on Friday, the WNBA draft. And of course, talking Beavers with you today. Let's talk about Callan Pivec, who's expected to go somewhere on Friday. And she is also our guest on the Talking Beavers podcast this week with her sister, Malia, who is a cross-country runner at Boise State. She's going to be a senior, and right now they're together working out and playing the role of sisters, which they love so well. Now, I want to get into this WNBA thing with Callan, but what a tremendous player on and off the court, well documented. And before we talk WNBA, I just want to relive some of the great moments in Callan Pivec's previous season, plus the fact that she is the shortest player in the history of the Pac-12 to have 1,000 rebounds. What a versatile player she is. But let's go back to three plays that took place this past season. The first Pac-12 road game for the Beavs in Tucson at the McHale Center against Arizona. Arizona had a huge crowd there, tons of excitement. The Beavs built up an 11-point lead, but here come the Wildcats. It was tied 61-61. And I think everybody at the McHale Center knew that the Beavers had the ball and that the ball was going to Callan Pivec. So a big win for the Beavs there. That improved their record to 14-0 at the time. Later on in the month, back at Gill, a tough night against Arizona State. Early in the game, Kennedy Brown goes down with a season-ending knee injury. The Beavs struggled against the Sun Devils. They had lost 4 in a row to Charlie Turner-Thorne's team, but late in the game, they tie it. It goes to overtime. Now, down to 61-59 in overtime, I'm going to set up Callan's play with the previous play. About 4 seconds to go, Aaliyah Goodman inbounds it to Maddie Washington just to the left of the paint. A great backdoor pass to Kat Tudor. It's tied at 61. Less than a second to go. Arizona State has the ball, but they inbound it. They let the ball roll out of bounds, so the Beavs get it back. 0.4 seconds to go, and here's what happened next. Now, one final Callan play from the season. This took place in Salt Lake City, in Utah, on a Sunday, and I'll tell you what, it was at the end of the first quarter. Didn't expect much. The game was kind of slow-moving, but then Callan took the ball, got the rebound, took the ball, and flung it about 90 feet. It was a little too late for it to count, but I don't know how many times you see this happen. So obviously, Callan is a special player on the court and, of course, off the court. Her commitment to the community. Right now, she's helping out in Corvallis, trying to get food and supplies to hospital workers and first responders, a typical thing Callan Pivec does. But now we turn our attention to the WNBA. Where will she go? What will happen? Well, I do know this. She was on our Talking Beavers podcast, and we talked about the WNBA draft and what this week means to her. Now, Callan obviously doesn't want to say which team she wants to play for. She is from just north of Seattle. I'm sure that the Seattle Storm would turn her heads. And, well, I asked her about, what kind of contact has she had with WNBA teams. So we'll keep an eye on Friday afternoon, the WNBA draft. Of course, the players, none of them know if there's going to be a season. Former Beavers, Sydney Weiss, Marie Gulish, Ruth Hamblin are also on hold waiting to see. But we'll find out Callan's fate on where she will go and which team will pick her. Where will she go in the draft? I've studied so many of these mock drafts. Most of them say anywhere from 10 to 17. Callan Pivec could go to one of three teams that have been mentioned, the Atlanta Dream, the LA Sparks. Wouldn't that be something to be with Marie and Sid? And then, of course, her hometown Seattle Storm. Should be interesting. And please check out the podcast, the Talkin' Beavers podcast, right on the website of NBC Sports Northwest.